everyone, my name is Lamide. Mainly a corporate babe. So I work for an investment bank in London. I don't remember you. That's when I realised that, okay, there's a life outside of this corporate world and there's money to be made outside of this corporate world. I've been looking at some rent-to-rent deals, yeah. You can't just give me any numbers that's not making sense.
One auntie called me, yeah? Okay, I'm just calling you because I swear
Even if you're on a 30k salary, you 12%.
Oh my.
When you buy cash, this is like this. By the time I'm 30, I'm going to have a multi-million pound property portfolio.
Yes, people, welcome back to the Property Strategist podcast.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, just for people as well, for the audience that are listening in, like, you know, obviously you're doing amazing stuff on YouTube and obviously in real life, but your content, I love it because it's very relatable. It's very concise, I would say. Do you know what I mean? It's not very aimless. It's very strategic the way you put stuff out. Like, what was your first introduction into business, property, and was this like, you know, talk to me about that. Was it through uni or was it through another avenue that you kind of got aware of business and property and those sort of things?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm too much of a businessy person, but I did start like my first venture very, very early. I think I was like 14 or something like that when I started my first business. And I would always say that was because I think when you don't grow up with loads of money, there comes to a certain point where you don't want to ask your mum for money anymore because you know she doesn't have, like, you have kind of like an understanding of what's going on. And so when I saw the opportunity to start something, I did like a summer school and I showed my garments on Facebook and then people were like, oh, can you make that for me? And I was like, oh, like this is something. So that's when I started my first business and stuff. But I did that, and then that was before I was super into education. That was like when I was doing my GCSEs, and then I did that for a bit. But I think when I really started to take it seriously was I was in uni and I knew that banking was something that I wanted to do because one thing that was always very important for me was financial security because I didn't have that growing up. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to do banking. This is the most lucrative path, especially in London, like the finance centre. I was like, okay, I'm going to do banking. And I was watching YouTube and I was just like doing my work, watching YouTube, like wasn't really paying attention to what I was watching. And then this YouTuber, she did like hair stuff. She was like, oh, I'm going to do my budget for this month. So this month I want to make like 50k. And I remember I stopped my work and I looked and I said, 50k?
What?
And at that point, like the graduate jobs, like the good graduate jobs were paying you 50k. So I was like, what do you mean you're going to make 50k in 1 month? And that's when I realized that, okay, there's a life outside of this corporate world and there's money to be made outside of this corporate world. And that's when I was like, I'm going to start going after that sort of stuff and not just be solely focused on corporate.
That's interesting because I know your whole thing is that you have this strong corporate background, and we spoke about before, like on the phone and stuff, but you could easily go down that route and get the highest level of that. But then this door of like content creating has sort of creeped his head and things like that. So it's interesting to see how that part is kind of colliding with it. Like, is there anyone you looked up to in that space other than that lady that kind of made you think, okay, this is possible, this is how possibly I could do it? Or are you kind of freestyling with the way that you're putting out content? Or what's your thought process?
I would say not really in terms of people that I looked up to, because actually when I started YouTube, there were a lot of people like, oh, are you sure you should be doing that in corporate, or you're not going to be able to get another job if they find out you have a YouTube channel and stuff like that. There was one guy called Afsar Hussein who used to make like finance videos, but in terms of like being a content creator and being in banking, I kind of paved my own path. There were a few people that I looked up to in the States and stuff, but not really, because a lot of so I used to watch a lot of YouTube and I would watch a lot of like college vloggers in the States, and I'd love them because they were academic and I was academic, but then as soon as they finished college, because they had built up that YouTube base, they would never go down the traditional route. They would always like become a content creator. And I remember being frustrated, like, oh, like I want to see someone do the corporate thing, because I knew that was what I wanted to do. And so I said, like, okay, I'm going to be the first person to do it. So no, there's not really anyone that I see.
Can I just ask though, like, why do they always say that you can't do content and then be working in like a corporate role? Like, what's the negative of doing content and working in that role?
There's so many things. I think the content creation mindset and then the traditional banking corporate consulting mindset, the people who are in those fields, they don't understand the online world. Like, they're so like some people can be so like dismissive. They can talk that talk down on it. Oh, like, oh, this kid's just making silly videos on TikTok. This kid is making more than you.
I
You've been
like
working here for
that.
10 years. You've
like
been
that.
working here for 10 years, slaving. And that silly kid making silly videos is making more than you. So these people in corporate, they don't understand it. And then there's also like another thing of conflicts of interest. So being a banker, there's certain things that I can't talk about online because I'm seen as representing the firm. So there's that conflict as well. But I think more so it's just a mindset of people feel like, and I find it so weird because when you apply to these institutions, right, they want people who have done a bunch of different things. They want the people who are entrepreneurial, stuff like that. But as soon as you start, all of a sudden,
too much,
you can't do
too
it.
much,
Yeah,
too much,
you can't do it. You
yeah.
need to stay focused on your job or don't get distracted. But I think that mindset is slowly changing because now like I'm quite open about my YouTube channel and stuff, and my firm is now getting me to do now they're getting me to do
the followers getting up.
Hey up, man.
they want me to come and do a talk on how to do work-life balance and stuff like that. But then you know how it is.
So like what was your timeline? So you went to uni, when did you study in uni, and then when were you starting to think about YouTube? When did you start?
It'd be good to know that transition from uni to corporate banking. I think you did like an internship and stuff like that. What was that route?
Yeah.
And then talk about the YouTube as well. But I want to talk about that route a little bit as well.
Yeah, so I think it all kind of ties in. So I think I met Aisha. So Aisha is the founder of the Black Property Network and Propel. Maybe going into, at the end of my first year, going into my second year, I always knew I wanted to do banking from A-level. So I was already like doing the things that I needed to do. But then when I heard her story, so a summation of her story is she was in banking as well. And I think by the time she was like 30, she was maybe like doubling her income from property, and then she left. And I was like, oh, this is something that I want to do. And so I knew that banking internships are very, very lucrative. I always tell people this, like on my internship in my second year of uni, we were getting paid £1,000 a week, and it was a 10-week internship. Yeah, so they're very, very lucrative. So when I knew...
Please, the link will be below somewhere. We'll get Lamide to drop the link.
When I knew I wanted to do, when I knew I wanted to buy a house, I knew that I needed to get that internship because that's going to really help me. And so I did that. I got the internship during my second year, and then I converted that to a full-time role. And Aisha was actually one of the people who told me, oh, like, you know, like people are doing like YouTube and stuff, like maybe you should do that. But I was already going through this phase where at uni, I think a lot of people go through this as well, where you're just kind of thinking like what am I doing? Like, where do I want to go? Like, I don't know, like, what am I passionate about? I remember I was so obsessed with finding my passion.
Yeah.
And someone must have said to me, like, what is it that you used to do before when you were younger that no one asked you to do, that you just naturally just used to do? That is probably something that's aligned to your passion because that was something that you did without anyone asking you. And I remember when I was younger, I used to run a blog with my friend and I really enjoyed doing that. Nobody asked us. We wasn't getting paid, nothing. We just did it because we were passionate. So I started blogging at first on YouTube, and I was blogging about like, I did one about internships, and I don't know, I was just like sharing stuff online, but really and truly I knew I wanted to get onto YouTube, but the blog was what built up my confidence. And so I started that at the end of my first year, going into at the end of my third year of university, starting work. So I started it before I went to work, which was important as well because I didn't want my work to tell me I couldn't do it. I wanted to start it before they could say you can't do it. Yeah.
No, that's something that I like though. You know, like videos when they show day in the life and things like that. That's what people are interested in.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of theory and there's a lot of people that want to do that. But then in terms of it being practical, okay, but what does this practically look like on my day to day? So when you did that, and when other people are doing it, like I watch videos of like day in the life of like, what do you call it? Garbage truck guy. I was just curious.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I do appreciate those, you know, that kind of content. So it is amazing.
Yeah. How's it been being a content creator? Because I think as you started, like you said, it was more internship, getting to this, getting to that. I feel like you kind of found your lane a bit now with it, where it's like international corporate, you know, property.
International property.
No, we call it international Lamide now from now on.
International
But like, how was it find your lane? How is YouTube as a platform to grow your following? How you found that whole process, and where are you with it now? Like, it'll be good to understand that.
Yeah, I think the thing with content is, especially like, it's so important when you're creating content online to like, you kind of got to be careful on what you blow up as, because whatever you blow up as, that's where you get the majority of your followers, and that's what they continuously want from you. And so when I was realizing that I don't just want to be this corporate girl, because what if I decide to leave corporate next year and you guys are only following me because you want to see corporate stuff? So I started to think about, okay, cool, what is it that I'm always going to be interested in? What is it that I'm always going to do? And I'm always going to be after money. I'm always going to be investing in property, and I'm interested in business. So I was like, this is more long lasting for me, because like I have a lot of people who do like, there are loads of like study YouTubers, right? Who like, they take people through their university journey. But after you finish uni, it's only 3 years. Then what do you do with the online stuff, right? People are no longer interested. So that was why I was like, I don't want to, even when I was doing the banking stuff, I never put in my banner or anything, finance, banking. And because I was like, I know this is going to change soon.
You don't want to box
yeah, I didn't want to box myself in. But now that I kind of found the stuff that I'm actually interested in talking about, and I can talk about freely without my job, because when I was doing the banking stuff, there was some stuff I couldn't say as well. But this money stuff, you lot can't tell me what I can and can't say. You know what I mean?
But it would be good to get your first property and that process as well. How did you get your first property? What was that process like? What was the penny dropping moment? And it was like, okay, I've got enough money to actually go with this now. Let me start the process. Like, what was that process like?
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, so I bought, it was like 6-7 months when I just came out of uni, right?
That's crazy.
But I always tell people that the process started way before. Like I've been saying, second year of uni was when I was like, okay, I know I want to buy. And so what I was doing is Aisha was kind of like the person who I saw was like my mentor, informal mentor.
So you knew Aisha during uni? Or? Oh, okay.
I met her. She was speaking at an event, and I just like shot my shot in her.
Shoot your shot
on LinkedIn, and just like tried to relate to her as much as possible. And
LinkedIn,
then
did you hear that?
LinkedIn. And then we went for coffee and stuff. So what I was doing is I knew that I had a lot to learn. So what I said to her is, what we agreed is that I would come and work for her companies for free in exchange for being able to come to those events and listen to people and all of that stuff. So I was trading my time for knowledge, which I needed. So I did that all through uni. And then I was starting to think about, okay, cool, so what are the practical steps? Like I actually need to start going, because I think that was one thing I was doing for a while, just listening to podcasts and reading and stuff like that, but like take action now. So it got to that point, and then I think I realized I needed 3 pay slips. So I had the money there because I was saving during uni. I was doing these internships. I did a gap year as well. So I had the money there, but I had to wait for 3 months to have 3 pay slips. And then as soon as I got those 3 pay slips, like I was on the phone to the broker. I was like, let's go. But it wasn't easy though, because trying to get a buy-to-let mortgage as your first one, it wasn't easy. The first broker that I spoke to was like, this is not gonna, you're not gonna be able to do this.
What was the main factor? Your age, or what was it?
He basically said that you need to get your own house first. Like, why are you trying to?
Try to advise you
against.
It was like, oh, no lender's gonna want to give you any money. You just graduated. You just this. You don't have a track record. You don't even have 1 year.
Before you even carry on with your story, I just want to go back to uni quickly. You sounded like you were just focused. Did you not play? Was it just all hard work and savings? And
you not play?
Uncle Goke. Did you not play at all? No raving.
Not fun.
Just touch and walk. Okay.
I'm trying to make sure.
Uncle, it's true.
You have a lot of young.
It's true.
Listeners.
How was uni? How was?
Listen, I didn't go to a uni that was for play. Like London School of Economics. So if anyone doesn't know, I studied at London School of Economics, studied economic history. That uni is known for being antisocial. People just go there to work. After the first few years, after the first few weeks, everyone's locked in their room all nighters. Like it's a very academic uni. It's known as the number 1 uni for people going into banking. So these people are very, very serious. So there wasn't really any of that. Like if you wanted, people who wanted to have fun would go and visit their friends in the Midlands not prudent now.
Aston, BCU, Leicester, Coventry.
They would go to these places to have fun, but not my uni. And I also moved back home my second year to help me save.
Okay.
So, but I mean, my idea of, that's never been my idea of fun. I'm not really a raver. I'm not like, that's not me. If I want to have fun, I'll go to something that's Afrobeats related, or I'll go on holiday, or like I go out for drinks and stuff with my friends. So no, I wasn't really like living it up like that at uni.
Cool. But so carrying the story, coming out of uni.
So you spoke to your broker, you spoke to another one, I guess?
Yeah, and then I realised that, okay, cool, I think I'm going to need to get a buy-to-let specialist broker, because these other brokers that I'm speaking to are telling me that it's not possible.
Where
You're
did you
not
find
gonna-
him or her, by the way, the first broker?
The first one was actually a work recommended one.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was probably the biggest error anyway. And then the second one I just typed in online, buy to let broker, and I literally used the buy to let broker brokerage. So yeah. And that was it. It was during lockdown, so it was pretty hard. So Akin was my saucer.
Oh,
yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, this is what we do. But yeah, no.
But even then, I think I gave him
Oh god, that
some.
process was long. Anyway,
I always calling him, asking him questions,
Right.
due diligence in him, because I needed to know what I was getting myself into. So.
Right, yeah. I remember that first call I had with you actually. I remember I was in Wolverhampton. We were running around doing rent to rent stuff, and Aisha's husband, I think he told me it was either her or him. Told me I got a call with you, so we organised a call. And straight away when I was talking to her, I was like, this is not going to be an easy one. So I'm looking for this house. I want this. I want that. I want this. I'm like, I've got this great deal, but have you got this? Have you got that? Lamide does not play, you know. You can't just give her any deal or just
Do you know
whatever.
what it is?
Like she does her due diligence. Like
Do
she
you know
does not
what it
play.
is?
Like
First of all, I think sometimes,
and you give you the run for the money. Even when you're charging her, can you not bring it? Like I'm doing you a service. Play me well. Like come on, man.
No, do you know what it is? I think sometimes, people forget. I've been looking at some rent to rent deals. People sending me. People forget I'm a finance person. You can't just give me any numbers that's not making sense.
It's
Like
true,
this is what I do for a living. I do due diligence on finances, so it's gonna make sense, and I'm gonna ask you questions.
It's true.
So yeah.
But it wasn't that bad. I think the process was pretty good. I think I probably sent you at least 3 deals, maybe 2. I can't remember the process. Maybe 2-3 deals, and we came across one that I viewed maybe a few weeks ago. Putting in some offers. Even with the offer, remember, we went quite back and forth actually with the. I can't remember. It was quite a long time ago, but I remember the process of just putting in the offer and stuff was quite went on for a while anyway with the seller.
Yeah.
And we managed to get it, and
It was during lockdown as well, during COVID. So
Yeah.
I never actually saw I never been inside.
to this day.
Yeah.
Oh my days,
I've
that's
never been
crazy.
inside to this day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But how was that? I mean, just actually, or I was gonna say getting the keys and like taking a picture, but you never.
You
been
got the
inside.
keys as
Yeah,
well?
I got the keys. But I remember dropping you off the package thing they give you sometimes.
Yeah.
They just give you that package when you complete, and I remember giving it to you, and then talk about the process when you got the keys. When you start managing. How did you feel? And then there's another story, but I wanted to tell her song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, what
I want this one for the guests and people that come for me for services. I want them to hear this part. Go on.
Wait, which part are you talking about? I'm talking about the part with Goke.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, no, because I was talking to people about, okay, should I manage this myself or should I get someone to manage it? Some people were saying that manage it yourself so you can learn about the process and then you can hand it off to someone. I was really like dilly-dallying, like, should I do it or not? Should I do it or not?
This property was in the Midlands and you was in London.
London. I was in London.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, let me just try it. So a month goes past now and this... Okay, found the tenant.
I found the tenant.
Yeah, he found a tenant. I think it was like the second one because the first one didn't check out.
Yeah.
So a month goes past now, and then I just get a phone call from the tenant, and he's like, just to let you know, it has been X amount of days since this has passed, and we haven't been sent the this, and that. Therefore, if you want to do section this,
You cannot do it.
You just drop your foot like this.
I was like,
I know this is your first property as well.
this is my first. I was
Someone like that?
And you're probably in the office right now doing work or something.
I was just like, I didn't even know what he was talking about. And then I think from then I just realized, you know what? I don't want to be a property manager. I just want passive income from a property.
Honestly.
So then I called Goke and I was like, please.
I said, hold on. I think about it.
Goke
And
was
the thing
really
is,
style.
originally, I won't lie to you. Originally, I said to her,
did say this,
just
man.
use the management company. Square Property Management's out here. We're patented. He'll take care of it. She's like, no, I got it. Don't worry, it's fine. I said, no. I saw Goke. I said, she didn't want to give it to me. I said, don't worry, leave her. She'll come back. She'll come back. Leave her. I said, are you sure? Should I tell her? He said, leave her.
Guys, Goke was styling on me. He was like, you know what? The
I'm a
time
bit
has
busy.
passed. Like, I was like, oh my
I don't know if it's
days.
Acting bougie.
You're bad.
Boy.
You're bad.
Boy.
And you knew I was sweating as well. I was sweating. I was like, what?
I like,
I was shook.
then I was like, all right, okay, cool, handle it, man. But,
We've been
So
there.
yeah, and now I've never managed a
Bother.
property again.
I'm telling you, it's not for
Again.
everyone.
It's not for
everyone.
It's not.
It's not easy.
It's
not for
Still
everyone.
till today, like I'm less hands-on when it comes to the management stuff. Yeah, 'cause I got staff. But yesterday, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah, tell us a story.
One auntie called me, and said, okay, I'm just calling you because I'm on my way home now, and if I beat up I swear down, if I beat up somebody.